and they put those drops in your eyes. Has anybody been to the eye doctor and they put drops in your eyes? Has that happened to anybody? Yeah, a few people. Okay. So when they put their drops in your eyes, they're saying they're dilating your pupils. So when they're dilating after they dilate your pupils, have you ever looked in the mirror? If you've looked in the mirror, you've realized your pupils have gotten really big. And they did that because they dilated them so then they could have a better look at what's going on within the structure of your eyes when they examine you. So a dilation enlarges something or it can reduce something. And we only enlarge or reduce by multiplying. So when a scale factor is greater than 0 and less than 1, so basically if you're multiplying by a fraction between 0 and 1. So if you take something and you multiply it by a half, do you think it's getting bigger or do you think it's getting smaller if you're multiplying or taking half of something? Smaller, right? So when you're multiplying by a fraction between 0 and 1, you're making the image smaller. So when a scale factor is greater than 0 and less than 1, the dilation reduces the figure. When the scale factor is greater than 1, so if you're taking a whole number and multiplying it by 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 or 100, what do you think's happening? Bigger or smaller? Bigger, yeah. So when the scale factor is greater than 1, the dilation enlarges the figure. So what we're going to do is we're going to perform some dilations. So what's happening here is I'm giving you this square. And what I want to do is I want to dilate it by a scale factor of 4. If I'm dilating the scale factor by 4, do you think I'm making it bigger or do you think I'm making it smaller? Making it bigger. So what we're going to do is we're going to write down all the original coordinates. And if you remember, a coordinate is x comma y. And so the original figure is called our pre-image. So if I'm looking at the pre-image coordinates for A, if we're looking x comma y, we want -1 on the x and then up 1. So this becomes -1 comma 1. You need the parentheses around the coordinates because that's what tells us this is a point, x comma y. You need the parentheses around it. So now let's look at the coordinates for B. Jonah, could you tell me the coordinates for B? Good. 1 comma 1. Sebastian, do I need the parentheses around it? Yes, we need the parentheses around the point to tell us it's a point. Maya, could you tell me the coordinates for C? You got it. 1 comma -1. Jay, could you tell me the coordinates for D? Good. -1 comma -1. And we need the parentheses around it. Now what we're going to do is we're now going to dilate the square. To dilate the square, what we're going to do is take all the pre-image coordinates and multiply them by 4. And now the new image that we get, it's not going to be the point A. You put an A with a little slash on top. You read that A prime. So to get to A prime, we're going to do 4 times the x coordinate. Oops. 4 times the x coordinate and then 4 times the y coordinate. So my A prime becomes -4 comma 4. So essentially what you're doing is you're taking the x coordinate, multiplying it by 4, and taking the y coordinate and multiplying it by 4, which is the scale factor. And now we're going to plot that. So if I'm -4 comma 4, I'm going 4 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, but then up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm going to name this A prime. Now we want to get to B prime. To get to B prime, you're going to multiply 4 by the x coordinate and then 4 times the y coordinate. And this ends up becoming 4 comma 4. So now when we plot this, we go 4 to the right and then up 4. This is my B prime. Can somebody tell me what will we get for C prime? What will we get for C prom? Good, 4 comma negative 4. So we're going 4 to the right and then down 4. Can somebody tell me, so this is 4 comma negative 4. Can somebody tell me what do we get for D prime? Jack? You got it, negative 4 comma negative 4. And then at the end, you have to connect the dots to create your new image. And now we've created a new square that's 4 times the size of the original square. Okay, so this is where we enlarged a figure. Now I'm going to show you what happens when we shrink or reduce an image. Let's go through and write out all of our pre-image coordinates. Noah, could you tell me the pre-image coordinates for J? Yeah, you got it. 4, 4. Leilani, could you tell me the pre-image coordinates for K? You got it. Kate, could you tell me the pre-image coordinates for L? For L? I don't think we're going 3 to the left. You're going 1, 2, right? To the left. And then 4 down. So it's negative 2, negative 4. Bella, could you tell me the pre-image coordinates for M? You got it. Jack M, could you tell me the pre-image coordinates for N? For N right here. Right here. Okay, well, let's think. Where are we getting negative 4 from? This is 0, right? At the origin? I am talking about N. So from here, it's always x comma y. Every point is x, y. So on the x, I'm going 1, 2 to the left. So that should be a negative 2. And then I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, which would be a positive 4. Is everybody okay with how we're figuring out the coordinates? Anybody confused? Because I can explain it again. Okay, so now to get the new coordinates after we perform the dilation, what you're going to do is you're going to take your scale factor. My scale factor is a half, and we're going to take a half and multiply it by the x coordinate and take a half and multiply it by the y coordinate. And now let's do the work. So we're going to start off with J prime. So we're going to do a half times 4, comma, a half times 4 again. Do we agree 4 is really 4 over 1 since we're multiplying fractions? Is everybody okay if I write 4 as 4 over 1? Now, who remembers, my son is in 5th grade and I've been trying to drill this into him because it really is helpful. When you're multiplying fractions, what is one thing we're allowed to do when you're multiplying fractions that you're not allowed to do in any other operation to make the problem easier? You remember? You are allowed to cross simplify only when you're multiplying fractions, no other operation. So what do I mean when I say cross simplify? You see 2 and 4. Well, 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 4 twice. And then after you cross simplify, you just multiply across. 2 times 1 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1. So that's just a 2. Then I cross simplify again, 2 goes into 4 twice. And then 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1. And doesn't that make sense? Half of 4 isn't half of 4 2? So if you take a half and multiply it by 4, you should get 2. So J prime is the point 2, 2. So we go to the right 2 and then up 2. There's my J prime. Now we're going to do K prime, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do a half times 4 over 1, comma, a half times 0. So again, we can cross simplify. 2 goes into 4 twice, so we're left with 2. And who remembers what's 0 times any number? 0. So K prime becomes the point 2, comma, 0. I want you guys to find L, M, and N all by yourself. So L prime, M prime, and N prime. Okay, who got coordinates for L prime? Can somebody tell me what they got for L prime? Jack? Negative 1, comma, negative 2. How many people got that? How many people were still working? Okay. Let's just show you what you were supposed to do. So we're going to cross simplify. 2 goes into negative 2 negative 1 times. So that's where you get the negative 1 from. And then 2 goes into negative 4 negative 2 times. And so that's where you get the negative 2 from. All right, take a minute, work on M prime now. So now you're working on M prime. As soon as you get M prime, turn your computer over and show me. Sure. Sure. So if this was a quiz, you would get a bunch of minus ones. Do you know what you're missing on all of these? Parentheses. It makes a difference, so I will have to take off points. Guys, don't forget your parentheses because I will have to take off points on the quiz if you don't have your parentheses. Anybody else ready to tell me next time? You did so I come times negative 4 over 1, comma, half times 0. Close your hands. Okay? So now I have to do oh no, I don't know what is this supposed to be? Parentheses or parentheses to put your other parentheses in. So now you cross simplify, so 2 goes into negative 4 how many times? Yeah, so we cross that and write negative 2. We're not in negative. And then 0 times anything is? You're going to take that 0. All right, guys, now go on and do N prime. So for M prime, you should have gotten, which I saw for everybody, negative 2 comma 0. Now do N prime. No, you don't put any simplify. Press simplify or simplify. Where should I? Where can I get it? Where can I get it? Good, Sebastian. We lost your sign because this was a -2, right? So that should be a -1. Yep. So what we should have done here is -1, comma 2. And now we plot. So now we have K is 2, 0. So that's K prime. We have L prime is -1, -2. We have M prime is -2, 0. And N prime is -2, +2. And then we connect it. And doesn't our image, our new image, look like the original just shrunk? It should look like the original just shrunk. What happens if it looked like a completely different shape? What happens if you drew this and it looked like a star? You obviously did something wrong, right? You messed up the coordinates somewhere. Yes. +4 for N. It's negative. Oh, what did I do? I did -2. Oh, it should have been, sorry, -1. I put -2. Sorry about that. Good catch. So -1, +2 right here. That looks better. Thank you. All right, now we're going to make this a little bit more difficult. Now we're going to do a scale factor of 3 halves. Is 3 halves bigger than 1 or smaller than 1? Bigger than 1. So should my diagram get bigger or smaller? Bigger. Since my scale factor is bigger than 1, my new image should be bigger than the original. So let's write out all of our pre-image coordinates. Jay, give me the first pre-image coordinate. 3, 0. You got it. Jack C, tell me the second pre-image coordinate. 0, 2. Perfect. Jack M, tell me the pre-image coordinate for C. Good. Sebastian, tell me the pre-image coordinate for D. Perfect. Maya, tell me the pre-image coordinate for E. 1, -2. Perfect. Okay, so now here's the hard part. Now we're going to have to multiply each of these coordinates by the scale factor. So I have A prime, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 halves times 3/1, comma, 3 halves times 0. Now in multiplication, you're allowed to cross simplify, but can I simplify on the diagonal? Can I simplify 2 and 3? Does 2 go into 3 evenly? No. So I can't simplify on a diagonal. So what is it that I have to do? Just multiply across. 3 times 3 is what? 9. 2 times 1 is 2, comma. Anything times 0 is 0. I'll let you all catch up. Is everybody understand how I knew I wasn't able to cross simplify on the diagonal? This 2 can't go into 3, and there's no number that divides evenly into 2 and 3 both. Okay, I'm not going to leave it like my house because I have to plot this. It's not easy to plot an improper fraction. It's easier to plot a decimal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide. How many people know what 9 divided by 2 is in their head? Okay, good. If you know what 9 divided by 2 is in your head, just write it down. If you don't know, we have to divide. So we're going to make the house. The numerator goes on the inside. The denominator goes on the outside. And you say 2 goes into 9 4 times. 4 times not 4 times 2 is 8. You subtract. And now I don't want a mixed number. I want a decimal. So there's no more numbers to bring down. So I put the decimal point and I bring down a 0. 2 goes into 10 how many times? 5. 5 times 2 is 10 and get 0. So now my A prime is going to be the point 4.5 comma 0. Now, when we plot this, you're going to go right between, we're going to go right between 1, 2, 3, 4, and then halfway between 4 and 5, and then up 0. So here is my A prime. Now we're going to find B prime. So now for B prime, I'm going to do 3 halves times 0, comma 3 halves times 2 over 1. Okay, 0 times anything is 0. Let's take a vote. How many people say this time I can cross simplify the 3 halves and the 2 over 1? How many people say yes, this time we can cross simplify? Good. We absolutely can because 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 2 once. So what am I left with? Just 3. So our B prime is 0, comma 3. Now we're going to go to C prime. So I have 3 halves times negative 2 and 3 halves times 0. Again, I'm allowed to cross simplify here, but don't lose your negative. That's a negative 1. So my C prime will be negative 3, comma 0. All right, I want you to do D and E by yourself. Do D and E by yourself. Once you're done, turn it over to me so I can see. Check letter E again. Letter E is good. Check letter E. Perfect. 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 Second. Put something in negative 2 over here. Negative 2, negative 2. You have to sorry. I was like, you might say, I've been watching that. Perfect. Ready to show me who needs my help.
So show me what you're multiplying this by. Yeah, so let's do that first. So then you cross simplify, ready? Well, what are you going to divide by? Yep, so 2 divided by 2 is no. 1, yeah, so cross it out and write 1. But that's not a 1, that would be negative, so what is that? Uh-huh, so what does that become? Negative 1 is? No, multiplying, it's 3 times 1. 3, so 3 times a negative 1 is negative 3. Mm-hmm. Tell me how to do this one. Mhm. So now you can't cross simplify, right? 2 doesn't go into 1. So now you just multiply across. 3 times 1 is, no, it's not 3. 3 times 1 is, but 2 times 1 is 2. So it's 3 over 2. Then you gotta make 3 over 2 into the next one. No, you gotta learn how to do it by hand. I'm not gonna give you a calculator on this test. So you do 3 in the house. Nope, 3 in the house. There's always in the house. And then 2 right outside. 2 goes in the 3 how many times? Times, yeah. Now, that's my point. Now we're not in the answer. And then you add a 0. So you bring it down. 2 goes into 10. Yep, so it's 1.5. 1.5. Now what do we do to find this number? This time, can we cross simplify? Yeah, why? How come this time we put the thing or we cut it? How come for this one? Here, we cut it. This one we can. We cut it cross simplify, but this one we can cross simplify. Okay, forget cross simplify. Don't even look at it as an option. Whenever you're multiplying fractions, just multiply across the ways. Let's simplify. Okay. So 3 times negative 2, you just multiply the horizontal. 3 times negative 2 is and then what else do you multiply? So you multiply 3 times negative 2, and then 2 times 1. So 3 times, you have to bring this down. 3 times negative 2 is, and then 2 times 1 is, so then what's negative 6 divided by 2? No, we're dividing. Negative 3, good. Okay, good.
All right, guys, I want you to do independent. So your answer should have been for the first one, -3 for D. and 1.5, -3 for E. So there's your D prime. And then E prime is -1.5 and then down 3. Oh, sorry, +1.5. So it looks something like this. All right, we're going to skip independent number 4. I want you to try independent number 5. I'll write out the pre-image coordinates for you. All right, these are all your pre-image coordinates. So all you have to do is perform the transformation where you multiply the x coordinate by 1/3 and you multiply the y coordinate by 1/3. As soon as you're done, you can call me over and then you're done for today, and I am not giving you any homework. We're actually not even done with the lesson, so we'll finish up the lesson next class. As soon as I check you, you can close it up. Oh, nope. So what I want you to do is don't write the button below. What I want you to do is when you multiply across, go like this. And then that was how we just simplify it. That's be divided by 3. Negative, right? There you go. So just write it across. This is the Good. Don't forget your parentheses. Well, you didn't find the other coordinate for A. So you only found the first one, -1. What about the number that goes here? Yep, here. Mhm. Perfect. You got it. Perfect. You got it. Excellent. You understand now. You're good. All right, guys, we're done. Sharing this.